What's going on, everyone? This is David Green, your host of the BiggerPockets Real Estate Podcast, here today with Mortgage Mondays, joined by my partner and broker of the One Brokerage, Christian Batchelder, here to explain how loan approval amounts work. If you've ever wondered how much you would be approved for to buy, how much house that you could get, and what you should be searching for online as far as price points are concerned, today's show is for you. It is a brand new year, and we want the best for you, and that includes financial prosperity. So we're going to be talking about a concept that comes out of my book, Pillars of Wealth, and how that information can be applied to getting yourself the house of your dreams. Christian, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me. Glad to be here.
Yep. Let's get into it. Christian Batchelder, my partner and broker of the One Brokerage. How are you today?
Pretty good. We're going to be talking about how to get into some properties depending on what you make today, which is exciting.
That is right. If you've ever wanted to know what you'd be approved for a loan, but you're embarrassed to ask, you don't want to admit that you're ignorant, or you're afraid you'll never qualify for a house, today is a show for you.
But before we get into that, the dream of owning a vacation home can be daunting. From finding the best guests, to the maintenance, to organizing the cleaners after every guest stay. With Vacasa, they make that dream into a reality. As a full-service vacation home management company with vacation homes in key destinations across the U.S., they know a thing or two about how to make owning a vacation home easy and profitable. On top of proactive property maintenance visits by professional local teams, a hospitality-driven booking platform, and around-the-clock support, Vacasa earns homeowners an average of 20% more revenue from their vacation home. Vacasa is always thinking of ways to simplify the vacation home owning experience by putting your home to work for you. If you're looking to make more on your vacation home, work with a reliable property manager, and finally have peace of mind, partner with Vacasa at vacasa.com/biggerpockets. That's vacasa.com/biggerpockets. Now, back to Mortgage Mondays.
We are going to be talking about 3 different income levels and 3 different interest rates and how much house you would qualify for at those levels. Now, before we get into it, we're going to talk a little bit about how pre-approval amounts are calculated. There's actually a math to this, and when you understand the principles of it, it will put you in a position to get approved for more if you want to buy a more expensive house. We use something called debt to income ratios. Christian, can you briefly explain what a debt to income or DTI ratio is?
This is by far and away the biggest determinant if you do qualify for a conventional loan. Debt to income includes all of your current outstanding and theoretical debt. Your theoretical debt is this potential mortgage that you're taking on, puts all of those monthly payments on the top of the fraction, and on the bottom, it takes all of your income. Right. So we take all of the money that you make as a W-2 worker, maybe some rental income you're collecting, business owner income, whatever you're doing to generate revenue is on the bottom. And we take that debt to income ratio and we can go up to a certain threshold as determined by the loan product to qualify you for how much property you can purchase.
All right. So we take all of the money that you make and then all of the money that you spend. We subtract what you spend from what you make. You're left with a certain number. That's multiplied by what people believe you can afford. And then you get a number that typically needs to be what percentage, Christian?
So we usually like debt to income ratios around 45%. And one thing to note is we do use your gross income. So if you make $100,000, 45% of that is $45,000. That's the amount of payments for everything, your credit cards, your student loans, your cars, your homes, that we want to have. And that's on an annual basis. So you can divide that by 12 if you want to get monthly. But that's how much of your income we can use to account for your debts.
All right. Now, if you're not good with math, don't worry. That is our job. What you need to know is that if you can make more money and owe less money, you can be approved to buy more house. Now, there's certain things that people can do to improve their debt to income ratio. Obviously, making more money is a big one, but when people make more money, they often end up spending more money. So we really like to focus on defense. It's one of the core pillars in my book, Pillars of Wealth, a 3-pillared approach to being able to actually build wealth and become a millionaire. What are some of the ways, Christian, that you have gotten people's pre-approval levels higher by eliminating some of the money that they owe?
Yeah, this is a really good question. And this is some of the fun that comes from being a loan officer, is getting creative with people's financial situation. Number one, a big one for self-employed people or anybody with business type income, is discussing their write-offs with them. Right. So how many write-offs are you taking at the end of the year? And how is that hurting your loan approval? Because a write-off decreases the income that you report to the IRS and in turn decreases the amount of money you owe them, in your income taxes. But it also decreases how much money you make on paper, which is what we use to qualify you. Right. So in that debt to income ratio, you're reducing your income, which means we have to reduce the debt that we can give you. That's a big one. Number two is paying off debt. So if you got some high interest rate credit cards, some car loans, some student loans, obviously aggressively paying those off and kind of taking the Dave Ramsey approach, right? Get all that debt to zero, is going to increase what you qualify for, and then our job is getting in your tax returns and maybe using more of your income than another lender may have told you, right? We can do things like add back some of those write-offs on your tax returns and, play with the gross amount that we can credit you on your income. And that's where, skill and experience comes into play, right?
Okay, so if somebody makes $50,000 a year and they're going to put 5% down on a house, how much house would they be approved to buy at a 3% interest rate?
Yeah, so this is fun. We're going to see how much interest rate impacts their buying power. I got the numbers pulled up right here at a $350,000 purchase price. Putting 5% down is $17,500. Assuming you've taken that Dave Ramsey approach we just discussed and paid off all your other debt, pay off your credit cards every month, you don't have a car loan, no student loans, we would have you at a 45% debt to income. That's the number that we target. If you make $50,000 a year and you get a 3% interest rate on this loan. So to answer your question, David, $350,000 purchase price is what you'd qualify for in that scenario.
All right. So $350,000 house at a $50,000 income at a 3% rate. Now, what if rates have gone up to 6%, which is a little lower than where they're hovering at around the time of this recording?
All right, guys. So with all of the same assumptions, we've paid off all our debt. We're in good standing there. We're still putting 5% down, which is a little bit less money because it's going to be a lower purchase price. Your $350,000 pre-approval is going to come down to a $275,000 pre-approval, with you still hovering around that 45% debt to income threshold. Okay, so obviously it decreases a good bit.
Yep. When rates jump up to 6%, the purchase price is going down from $350,000 to $275,000. Okay. Now, what if the interest rate is at around 9%, where we saw it earlier this year for investment properties?
9%. This is about the peak that we saw the market get to. So this is exciting to see how much this actually impacts you. We're down around a $200,000 purchase price in that regard, David. So we've come from $350,000 to $275,000 all the way down to $200,000. Guys, you can see how much interest rates impact borrowers' eligibility. This is a significant drop.
That's right. And that is a thing to think about, because when rates were at 3%, yes, there was a lot of competition over homes, and we never like that. But at the same time, you could be approved to buy a $350,000 home versus a $200,000 home. That literally takes home ownership off the table for a percentage of people if rates go from 3% to 9%, because many markets do not have $200,000 properties available. Okay, moving up here. Let's say somebody has worked their job for a couple of years. They followed the principles in the second pillar of Pillars of Wealth. They've made more money. They've improved their income, and they've done a great job of playing defense, the first pillar, and they haven't taken on more debt. They're now making $90,000 a year. How much house would they be approved to buy at 3% rates?
Yeah, good question. So now we're going to go up in income level. So guys, we're going to give you 3 different factors here, see which one you slide into, and this may give you some guidance on your next purchase. In the same regard, everybody's kept their debt low. Like David said, you pay your credit cards, don't have a car loan. That's good work. You'd be all the way up at a $675,000 purchase price, assuming once again the 3% interest rate mark. And we're going to give you those same 3 brackets again.
All right. So bumping your income from 50 to 90 at 3% rates takes you from $350,000 purchase price to $675,000. That is a big jump. Now, what happens if rates go to 6%?
Yeah, if we double that interest rate, this is going to be a significant drop. This is going to surprise people and show you how, as you go up in purchase price, rates impact you more aggressively. You're actually going to fall all the way down to a $475,000 purchase price. So that's a $200,000 decrease in your pre-approval amount, going from a 3 to a 6% interest rate.
Yeah, you've lost around 30 to 35% of your total purchase price by rates just going up that 3%. Now, what happens if they go up all the way to 9%?
You guys will see this as we get to the lower purchase prices. The steep fall off gets a little shorter. You're going to go to a $375,000 purchase price. So from the same adjustment in rate, it's half of the impact because your purchase price is lower, right? It impacts you more at the higher thresholds.
Now, this person is fast forwarding 5 years further ahead in their life. They've taken on more responsibility. They've done a better job at their career, and they've become a more valuable member in the capitalistic marketplace. They're now making $150,000 a year. How much house can they afford at 3% rates?
All right, so now we're at 150. This same borrower has increased their income 3x since we first met him back down at the $50,000 a year mark. At a 3% interest rate, we're going to be right around $1.1 million purchase price. And once again, guys, we're still assuming 5% down. We're still assuming no other debt. So this borrower has done a good job at following Dave Ramsey, making sure he's keeping debt off of his credit score. But 1.1 million is going to be your buying threshold there, David.
There you go. You buy a house for 1.1 million. You let your tenants pay off your mortgage for you, and you're left a millionaire just from keeping your assets high and your debt low. All right. Now, what if interest rates jump up to 6%?
Yeah, so good question. And once again, you guys are going to see this big drop off when we have to double rates at these high purchase prices. You're going to go from 1.1 million, you're going to drop almost 30%, all the way down to $800,000. Literally cuts you by 30-40% there. So big drop.
At those high purchase price, they're very, very, very sensitive to rates. Okay, and what if rates go up to 9%?
Yeah, dropping that. Once again, you're going to see a drop off slightly less, but still significant, going from $800,000 down to a $600,000 pre-approval. If you look at that, man, going from 3% to 9%, look at that difference. It halved your pre-approval from 1.1 down to 6. Right, that's a massive swing from the increase in interest rates.
There you have it, folks. If you're making $50,000, $90,000, or $150,000, you've got a pretty good idea of how much house you'd be pre-approved to borrow. The key is keeping your debt low and getting your income higher. Now, if you'd like to learn more about how you can do that, check out my book, Pillars of Wealth: How to Make, Save, and Invest Your Money to Achieve Financial Freedom. The book focuses on a 3-pillared approach: making more money, saving more money, and investing the difference. And the reward is you can end up owning a house of your own that your tenant will be paying off the rent for, and building wealth for you heading into retirement. Why all of us are here and what we hope for all of you. Christian, if people want to get a hold of you and they want to get pre-approved, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, all over social media, guys, at The One Broker, and our Apply Now link on our website, theonebrokerage.com. Come on over, check us out.
You can find me at davidgreen24.com or send me a DM at your favorite social media at davidgreen24. I'd love to hear from you. And let us know if you like today's show. If you've ever wondered how loan approvals work, did you get any value out of this? Let us know in the comments, like the video, and share it with anybody else who's interested in real estate, but maybe feels intimidated because they don't know how the financing works. Not something you should ever worry about. Give us a call. We would love to explain what your lending options are. Also, check out BiggerPockets.com for more information on topics like this. You can explore the forums, you can read the blogs, or you can check out the vast library of books that they have available, educating you on building wealth through real estate investing. This has been David Green, the host of the BiggerPockets Real Estate Podcast with Christian Batchelder, signing off.